Okay, let's just make sure that everything's working correctly. That's always really important. And yeah, for those of you already in the chat, welcome to our little interactive analysis of Ocarina of Time here. We got some really good stuff today. We might be hitting up the water temple. We're gonna go get the iron boots. We're gonna talk about some Union stuff from Carl Jung about the shadow and the archetypes, and you know, maybe a little bit of Taoism and stuff too, because whenever you're talking about water, it's usually just a good idea to talk about Taoism too, because Taoism has a lot of water analogies, but we'll see. We'll see how it's all gonna go down today. So first things though, I went ahead and I got every single big Poe, which I've never done before. I don't know, I've just never taken the trouble. And now having done it, I'm like, oh, that really wasn't much worse than, you know, just a stupid side quest. So we're gonna get the final bottle. That's the one thing I never do in this game, is get the 4th bottles. I'm stoked. 4 bottles. That basically makes us like Rockefeller in this world. Wait a minute. She's like, wait a minute, wow. You have earned 1,000 points. Young man, you are a genuine ghost hunter. Is that what you expected me to say? Because of you, I have an extra inventory of big Poes, so this will be the last time I can buy one of these ghosts. You're thinking about what I promised would happen when you earned 1,000 points. Yes, well, yes. Don't worry, I didn't forget. Just take this. All right, 4 bottles, count them. So that's pretty cool. We got all the big Poes. We got 4 bottles. We're going to the ice place in, I forget what it's called, the ice cavern in Lake Hyla. Or no, it's in Zora's Domain. So we're going to the ice place in Zora's Domain, which, how are we gonna get there? If it's frozen over, we might need the fire arrow. So let's head to Lake Hyla first. We're gonna need the fire arrow. But yeah, welcome back everybody. You know, some of the things that I've been thinking about, you know, because I went ahead, I did some review of some of Carl Jung's ideas, and I got a new book by him, which I haven't read yet, so I'm going to be reading that while we, you know, go through this over the next, week or two, you know, to kind of get ready for this big video we're going to make explaining what's actually happening in this world. I think we need to go a little further. But one of the interesting things you get from Carl Jung is the idea of these archetypes and the different levels on which they exist, right? Because we're gonna be going into the water temple where we fight Shadow Link, and that's always been a great mystery to me. I mean, why in the water temple do we fight Shadow Link? Because the shadow's a great archetype. The shadow, I mean, if you want to know what the shadow is, it represents a sort of center of psychic energy. It's when you repress something or something isn't processed correctly, and it sort of attains its own gravitational field, and certain features of your mind will start to rotate around it. Like, for example, if you have some sort of mother issue, you know, your mother wasn't a healthy mother to you, and then, you know, someone approaches you in a way that reminds you of your mother, you might end up treating them like you're their mother, even though it's completely inappropriate to do so, and that sort of becomes like an alternate personality of yours. Oh God, shopping, the shopping mall, we don't need to be in here. You know, that it's a center of repression, and it sort of starts to act independently of how you might act. Well, now this is a thing. Huh. I don't suppose that I can get the fire arrow. I don't suppose I can get the fire arrow unless I... Unless I have the lake filled up. So that's not something we can do. Let's try going back to Zora's Domain, I suppose. I mean, can we get in through the... Seems like... Oh, well, we're going down here anyway. Ah! Don't dive into the shallow part. That's the lesson there. But yeah, you get this, so repression sort of starts to take over a part of your personality. And you can push this thing back and act completely normal, you know, that's always an option. So yeah, it's frozen over there. We can't even get in. That's always an option. But the better thing is to sort of integrate this shadow. So you can have multiple versions of these things floating around inside of your psyche, and they don't control you. I mean, I have them too, you know. I'm sure I have both mother and father issues, so my psyche definitely has those aspects. Let's go get our horse. Or better yet, let's just get out of here and then we'll call the horse. But it exists deep in your psyche and it constantly gets pushed down. And I think that's why for Link, we see his shadow, his little fairy tale shadow inside of the water temple, you know, because water tends to represent subconscious. And we have to mess with the levels of the water to get access to this shadow, which allows Link to progress, you know, and the water temple is also symbolic of the idea of marriage. Let's get our horse. Ain't no reason to walk. Wait. Make sure I have my chat on here. Okay, cool. But that's a big thing. I think it's a big deal for Link, and I don't know why it's approached when Link's dealing with the idea of marriage, though it, you know, if I recall, Ruto claims that she doesn't really have time for it because she has a greater responsibility. She becomes a sage, and we know we're dealing with the idea of this sort of commitment, of this milestone of growing up, you know, that you fall in love. You know, I mean, this tends to be something that happens very young. You fall in love, and if you've ever experienced young love, you know, you may want to abandon all your responsibilities in life to pursue this thing, you know. But like anyone, I think, who's been in a relationship, that initial flare usually fades a bit, and, you know, that doesn't mean you fall out of love or anything like that, but you start to focus on life and responsibilities and, you know, things that, gosh, how are we going to get into Zora's Domain? That's the big question. That's really what's floating around my mind right now. If anyone knows how we get in, I forgot. How do we get into Zora's Domain? Because I think the waterfall is frozen over. I mean, I guess we're gonna go check and see. But I think it's frozen over. Hi, Ketzer. Welcome to the show. Yeah, I don't even know if we're gonna get done with the water temple today, because technically we have 2 dungeons to do, 1 mini dungeon and 1 big dungeon. But the cool thing about archetypes is they come in levels. You don't just have, especially in a story like this, Link has his own shadow to deal with, but this can always be expressed upwards, and I'm going to explain how this happens. Because Hyrule also has its own shadow to deal with, Ganondorf. Oh, good, the waterfall's not frozen over. We're good. I guess it's a waterfall. The flowing water probably prevented it from freezing. You know, maybe a comment about flow there, who knows. Yeah, I was trying to go to Lake Hyla to get the fire arrow, but of course you can't get the fire arrow until you raise the water, right? But Jung described a few levels of your consciousness. You have, you know, your waking self, your persona, or your ego, which is a sort of this thing that you've adapted to deal with society, the face that you wear. And then you have the personal unconscious, which is sort of a collection of all the things, you know, that you've put away in life. All the things that were either too unimportant or not valid enough really to be processed by consciousness, or maybe you couldn't even deal with them, so it kind of had to be pushed down. And this is where those mother-father complexes and shadows tend to live, you know, and that's likely the level of existence that we're going to see Link's shadow appear in. And then you have the collective unconscious, which is like the unconscious of humanity in general, which is where all the symbols that we share regardless of culture tend to exist. And this is the thing that he really focused on. This collective unconscious seemed to be a very real, stable thing, and it's debatable. It is debatable whether it really exists, you know, because to understand this thing, you sort of have to take some scientific liberties. And Carl Jung was very aware of this, that, you know, you're not going to find the collective unconscious in neurology. The way I like to think about it is the same way we have science. We have general relativity to describe massive objects and everyday objects we interact with, right? And then we have quantum physics, which has some arguments with general relativity. You know, and causes some issues when you're trying to understand either of them. Oh, come on, just let me on the ice block. Yeah. So, you know, neurology isn't ever going to approach the realm of this collective unconscious. It's a little bit higher in our understanding, right? So you have to take a few little liberties. But this is where the archetypal symbols exist. The hero, the shadow, the joker, the magician. You know, the tarot deck actually has a lot of them in there. A lot of those archetypes are very well exemplified in the tarot deck, which is why it's been, you know, such a long-standing and popular idea, I think. Oh wait, you know what we're doing here? We're getting frozen. No, I need Din's fire. Yeah. You guys are about to get melted. You guys are about to get melted. Yeah, Ketzer, that's true. Oh, come on, this guy's still alive? No, that's true, and that's why Jung was so convinced of his ideas, is everywhere he looked, he was able to see this thing across different cultures. And that's how he, if you're ever curious about the evidence for this thing, for these ideas, that's how he provides the evidence. He essentially provides you with so many examples that it's very hard to deny that he's wrong. You know, and I tend to believe Jung. I see it too, which is why I talk about it so much. Otherwise, I would, you know, lump it in with pseudoscience, which a lot of people do lump it in with pseudoscience. That, you know, this whole idea of this symbolic psyche is just a bunch of mumbo-jumbo. But really, the way he describes it are centers of psychic energy. You know, your brain produces a certain amount of energy, and those energies begin to orbit around certain structures in the mind. And those structures are the archetypes, right? And the cool thing about it is you can have, you know, the archetypes within yourself, and organizing these archetypes, like everyone has a hero within them. Most people have a shadow within them. I think everyone does, actually, but, you know, that's debatable, I guess. And everyone has the magician, you know, the wise man. These are all characters that exist within ourselves that we've collected from our own culture and within the recesses of our own minds. But society also has these structures. This thing goes in so many kind of like fractaled out levels, and that even though you're a complete person with all these different archetypes inside of you, you yourself are an archetype to society. I like to use the Joker, which, you know, is like Loki, Anansi, Hermes. They're all, you know, great jesters in a sense. They're people who question the norms and, you know, can maybe see the way that the rest of the gods or archetypes operate as silly or, you know, not necessarily based in fact. You know, the Joker is the person who asks the great questions, whereas the hero is the one that changes and transcends society, you know, and brings us to a higher understanding, right? These all exist within you, but also people in society play this role. Like, take Martin Luther King Jr. I would put him in the category of the hero archetype. You know, even though he had all these archetypes within himself, you better believe there was a Joker inside of Martin Luther King Jr. In the end, he was a hero who allowed us to transcend certain ideas about society that we had considered ingrained. If you read a lot of old history, you know, slavery and segregation just seems to be part of what society is. But he showed us that that's not necessarily true. You know, that there can be another way. It just requires transcending ourselves a little bit. So, in the role of society, he played the hero, right? Whereas you have someone like, take Jim Carrey or Alan Watts, who's one of my favorite philosophers. They play jesters who are sort of silly characters who make us question things about the actual stable structure of society. So society, in a way, has its own personality and requires us to be the active participants in its personality. And if we have balance with these archetypes, we tend to have a healthy, stable society, right? you know, and then he even thought this went up another level, that certain nations played roles. One nation could be the hero nation, one nation could be the jester nation, and if you had a certain different amount of these different nations, you know, they in the right order, you'd have a healthy society, or an unhealthy one, where, like, take Nazi Germany, which became a repression, a shadow, you know, that they were dealing with some economic issues, which had become a repression for them, and exhibited itself as a sort of complex, which resulted in a catastrophe and a great imbalance in society because it wasn't dealt with. So this thing goes in so many levels, and we're going to find that in Zelda too, that Link may, you know, represents a balance of these archetypes himself as the hero, but also that Hyrule itself is a sort of psyche, you know. And one of the interesting things about Hyrule is its main symbol is the Triforce. And something else you noticed was that when people began going on this journey of self-realization and trying to order the different parts in themselves in a healthy way, he found that they would produce mandalas when they made art. You know, synchronistic patterns that sort of had a symmetry to them. And that's what we see with the Triforce. I don't think we can really argue that. That's what we see with the Triforce, is it's a sort of mandala. In fact, if you go back to the Temple of Time, the Triforce is in the center of this sort of mandala. And surrounding it are the sages, right? Are the symbols of the sages, which represent the different aspects of life. So I think we can see, like, Link's journey in general as a sort of ordering and purifying, you know, of the sick self that Hyrule has become. And, you know, that, to me, that's probably going to be the root of a lot of the analysis, is looking at Hyrule as a sort of psyche and trying to figure out what it means. Because the cool thing about Zelda, I think the reason we're all attached to it so much is it helps us understand ourselves. You know, I did a lot of growth when I was 8, and I played this game, and it gave me a lot of personal growth, which helped me develop as a person, and I'm sure a lot of you as well. But I don't think we really understand why. You know, you play a Zelda game, and then you feel sort of transformed by the end of it. I always have, almost with every one that I've played. I've always felt a little bit transformed by the end of it. And really my goal with all of this is to figure out why that happens. What does that mean? And I think in that we're going to find out what The Legend of Zelda, not just Ocarina of Time, but what the whole process of the mythos of this game is trying to communicate, which oftentimes even the artists and directors themselves didn't know. I'm sure Shigeru Miyamoto was just interpreting his own archetypes into this story and myth, you know. And a collection of people work on this, right? It's not just Shigeru Miyamoto, but together they're sort of interpreting their collective myth together. And it comes from Japan, so we're going to see a lot of Japanese influences from Shinto, which we've been talking about heavily. So there's a lot there. There's a lot there. And I think that was the important thing, you know, if anything I want to get across today, is that the archetypes, they can transcend levels. You know, I always wonder, you know, if we meet alien civilizations, are we going to meet a civilization that's like a completely alternative archetype to our own? You know, are we going to have to take this up another level where different planets are different archetypes, different galaxies represent different archetypes, you know? Because Jung thought this was a sort of metaphysical thing that might transcend and fractal out into the very nature of the universe itself. It gets a little weird. You know, it gets a little weird and mystical and metaphysical when you get to the higher levels of this stuff. You know, it almost has the statement that, yes, the universe is alive and it's doing something similar to what a brain is doing. You know, and a brain is the most complex thing in the universe that we know of, at least. A brain is absolutely the most complex thing in the universe that we know of. And what's it doing? Yeah, me too, Ketzer. I can't. I think the last big one for me was Skyward Sword, which I was not expecting to be good. I'd heard so many bad things about it, and I was like, okay, I mean, I'm gonna play it because it's Zelda, but I'm like, okay, this was early on when I started studying philosophy, so I didn't even know. I wasn't even prepared to understand what I was getting into. But when I finished it, I was like, holy shit, I feel a little transformed inside. I can't lie. And I couldn't really explain it. Oh man, I did that wrong. I hate the ice block game. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. Okay, what are we doing here? We gotta get, okay. Huh, okay. Okay, what are we doing here? Uh-huh, that's not gonna work. Wait, what is up there? Is it just nothing? I don't think it's anything. Okay, we're gonna... I feel like I just did the same thing I just did again. What am I doing? What am I doing? I think I'm just going backwards. What am I doing? Ugh. I'm just pushing this thing in a damn circle is what's happening. Oh yeah, Ketzer, definitely finish Skyward Sword. It's worth it. The ending is amazing, and I love when you fight Ganondorf, or Demise, at the end, you have to actually raise your sword into the air to, like, get bolts of lightning, and it's the best feeling ever. I know people didn't like the motion controls, but I loved that. Like, raising your sword into the sky to deliver the, the really important blows to Ganon at the end. It's the best. Okay, let's try, let's push this guy over here, maybe. I'm trying so hard, folks. This freezing, too, is also pretty symbolic. If the water represents the subconscious, right? This freezing of the water represents an inability to sort of break through into it. A sort of blockage, that things are stiff and stale. And this tends to be what happens if you, like, reject the call of the hero, or the call of self-change and transformation is... As long as you're rejecting that, your life sort of becomes a little starchy and unbearable. And you can't really make any true movement. All movement requires transcending something. Like, if I'm gonna move across the room, I have to transcend where I was in the room, and move across it. Are we already done with the dungeon? I thought this was a little bit longer. The 2 DS games. Oh yeah, the DS games, I haven't played those either. The one where Link's like a train conductor. You know what? I forgot about those entirely. Those would be fun to do. Hell yeah, the iron boots. Now we can step up to construction sites, and be up to code. We just need the hard hat. Anyway, we meet again, Stink. If you came here to meet the Zoras, you wasted your time. This is all there is. With one exception, the Zoras are now sealed under this thick ice sheet. I managed to rescue the Zora princess from under the ice, but she left to head for the water temple. This ice is created by an evil curse. The monster in the water temple is the source of the curse. Unless you shut off the source, this ice will never melt. If you have courage enough to confront the danger and save the Zoras, there's courage again, I will teach you the melody that leads to the temple. Time passes, people move, like a river's flow, it never ends. A childish mind will turn to noble ambition, young love will become deep affection. The clear water's surface reflects growth. Now listen to the serenade of water, to reflect upon yourself. Oh, so we have this concept of reflection here. And this is very important in Shinto, and I'll go over why here in a second. And this will also be a large part of the lore that we're going to explain, this concept of reflection. I love every goddamn song in this game. I keep saying, this is my favorite, this one's my favorite. They're all my favorite. All the songs in this game are awesome. So, there's a tale in Shinto of the sun god Amaterasu, who we'll go into why in another episode, right? Okay, but Amaterasu becomes locked in a cave. And Amaterasu representing the sun and being the sun and light and life, right? This is a great tragedy for the world. It causes the world to sort of die inside. You know, you need the sun for this life to exist, right? So things start withering on the outside, and the other gods or the other kami are like, okay, well, how do we get Amaterasu out of this cave? Which is sort of symbolic of a kind of depression. How do we get Amaterasu out of this cave? Well, what ends up working is they sort of throw a party and kind of, you know, Amaterasu comes out to check out what's outside, and in front of Amaterasu, they place a great mirror. And this is a big symbol in Shinto, this mirror. I don't think it's surprising that we're hearing themes of reflection, and that we also see Link with the mirror shield itself later on, because this idea of reflection, self-reflection, is a sort of purification. I think I have, yeah, I got 3 blue fires. I made sure to get 4 bottles because I knew we were all 4 bottles. You know, I did all the big pose, so I made sure to do that. But yeah, because we need to unfreeze the king so he can give us the Zora tunic. But yeah, Amaterasu comes out and sees this great mirror and sees herself in all her radiance. And I do love Shinto for having a female sun god, because a lot of the sun gods end up being, you know, masculine characters. And in Japan, you actually, there's still some, you know, they're not as progressive as it's played out to be, but in the myth, but at least their sun god, it can be a feminine appearance, you know, their most highly respected god. And the god seeing herself in the mirror and seeing her own radiance, you know, and realizing the self is what allows her to take her proper place. It's almost like in the Never-Ending Story. If you've ever seen that, one of the trials for Atreyu is to look himself in the mirror and realize that he's the, not only himself, but also the reader, the base of the whole universe that he's in. It's a very profound idea, this idea of self-reflection. Oh, I've come back to life. Was it you who saved me? Don't be nervous. It looks like you have a hard time breathing underwater. It's probably because I've been farting in the water for years. As an expression of my gratitude, I grant you this tunic. Without this, with this, you won't choke underwater. All right, new clothes. Thanks, King. Ah, I see. Princess Ruto went to the water temple. He's like not concerned. He's like, yeah, still not getting up. Can't do much with these little old legs. All right, let's put on our clothes. I think if you, Ketzer says, I think if you buy the tunic first, the king instead offers you a kiss. I'll take a kiss. Why can't I have both? King? What's the deal with that? Okay, so now we need to go to the water temple. I'm actually gonna take a slight detour though, because I noticed just now that I have 31 golden skulltulas. I've been playing a little bit in my off time, just getting heart pieces, you know, playing the mini games in Hyrule Town Center, you know, like I haven't done anything dramatic. I've been planting my beans everywhere so that I have my beans planted. You know what, I kind of want to go back to the Skulltula house and see if I have the adult wallet available, because that would be super cool to just have the adult wallet. Ugh. Yeah, I'll talk about the Taoism stuff once we get to the temple too, because that's, this temple, man, this temple. I wonder if I can just. What's in here? Oh, it's a fairy fountain. Well, let's go ahead and get a fairy, because I'm liable to die at some point. But I kind of want that heart piece. Oh, there's another hole over here. What's in this hole? Oh, well, we're gonna have to remember to talk to that fella over there once we get the mask. A red rupee. Well, wouldn't you know it? And another stone of truth over here. There's so many to talk to. I'm probably gonna end up just going on the wiki or something and you know, figuring it out that way. I don't know if my hook shot is long enough. I might need the long shot. No! Can't I just do that with a boomerang? Ah! Okay. Don't jump in the shallow water, everybody. We'll come back for that one. I think I need the long shot. But yeah, Carl Jung's stuff, it gets so deep, it's very profound. I really haven't even searched the depths of it. I really need to read more, because, like, it just, you know, in 2 of his books, you'll find more information than you'll find in, like, the whole of Greek philosophy. The guy wrote freaking books, man, and they're big and long and full of examples and ideas. He likes to provide a lot of proofs, because he lived in a very scientific time. And he had a very unscientific way of going about his research, but he still needed to provide the, you know, reasonable proof that this was true, especially because he was trying to disprove his mentor, Freud, Sigmund Freud, you know, which caused a great split and actually caused him to, you know, his split with his own mentor was what caused him to look inside of himself and see his archetypes, because that was a very dramatic thing for him. And that's a lot of what the Red Book, if anyone's familiar with the Red Book, the sort of mystical text and the look at his own psychology is about. It's about that break with Sigmund Freud. You know what? I'm feeling pretty generous. I wonder if this guy will buy some blue fire. Some blue fire? That's blue fire! I'll buy it for 150 rupees! Wow. This guy's got more money than most people. What's going on with this dude? Oh yeah, I've already been in that hole. There's 200 rupees in there and I already grabbed it. Here we go. Oh yeah, look at him over there. Look at him over there. The curse has been broken, thank you. Here's a reward for you. Hell yeah. Now we're gonna make some money. We got that giant wallet. Probably should have did that before I gave that guy the blue fire, but you know what, that's how we learn. Oh, and what the hell, we're here. Let's just, oh, it's only open during the day. We'll come back during the day. Let's get over to Lake Hyla and get this dungeon on the way. Wait. I already forgot the song. And I'm gonna admit, guys, I'm one of those people that does the freaking water temple wrong every time. So yeah, if anyone's got any direction, I'm all ears. I am all ears for that. And we'll just go ahead and put the boots there so we can switch out of them real fast. Best thing about this remaster is being able to just switch the boots on from your items instead of having to go into the menu. Oh, thanks for the love, whoever's sending me little tiny hearts and shit. I appreciate it, Ketzer. Yeah, it's, you know what, I know this is a struggle for all of us, not just me, so. And I believe one of the first things you do, I know this, you go to the very bottom and go through the torch door. So. Oh, and there she is, right there. Damn, she grew up fine. Oh, you. If I'm right, Stink? You're Stink, aren't you? I can smell you from here. It's me, your fiancée, Ruto, Princess of the Zoras. I never forgot the vows you made to each other 7 years ago. You're a terrible man to have kept me waiting these 7 long years. But now is not the time to talk about love. See, she's grown up a little bit too. Her primary concern isn't this engagement anymore. It's her responsibility to her people, right? Which is what there's something interesting there. We'll get into some Union stuff here in a second about it. A young man named Sheik saved me from under the ice. Oh yeah, there is a delay in the messages, and that delay is because I want this to be in high quality, right? So it tends to process for a minute before it actually gets to you people. So I apologize for that, guys. I am using a $10 internet connection, and I'm afraid to pay for more. I don't know if I can afford it, and I really need it because I'd love to be streaming on Twitch and Kick and multiple platforms at the same time. You know, but that'll be when I have a bigger budget for this channel. But yeah, my upload speed's like 10 megabits. It's nothing. You know, I'm surprised it even looks this good. But, so something we tend to do, you know, when you come out of the womb, basically, the only thing you know is your mother and father, and mostly your mother, right? And when you fall in love later in life, you'll project either your mother or your father. I mean, it really depends on how you know, what sort of people you like or what sort of people represent that inner unity, that inner peace for you, that inner connection to the divine. Oh hell, let's just play the song. You'll project that onto other people. And this isn't unnatural, you know, it can be unhealthy if you overproject. Like, you might project what you want, like a woman or a man to be, onto someone who's not that, and then when they break those expectations, you find you're not very interested anymore. Or that the, you know, the love and the respect sort of starts to dwindle because they turned out not to be the thing that you thought they would be. Which is why, you know, not to get into relationships, but acceptance is very important. You know, people aren't all, and just in general with people, they're not going to be what you project onto them most of the time. Even if they match up 90%, you know, there's still going to be 10% that doesn't match up because that projection is coming from within yourself, you know, and so a healthy way to deal with that projection is you can project that onto the whole of society and be like, oh, society is this divine thing, my people, my culture, and then you develop a love for your society. This is why characters like Jesus end up with such profound examples of love for everything and everyone, or Buddha, or, you know, like characters like Martin Luther King Jr., we were talking about him earlier, right? Is that they've projected their love to a higher level, you know? All right, let's get this thing. Let's put it over here. And in this way, Ruto has projected, you know, her duty onto her people now, because she is the royalty. It is her responsibility. Don't forget to check low under a newly floating platform. Okay, noted. Noted. Don't you? Oh, I hate these clams. And we should talk about the Taoist perspective. And something that Lao Tzu said in the Tao Te Ching is, be like water. And the reason he said that is that water always seeks the lowest point. Because it has no structure, really. You know, it's the most liquid, at least that we know of. It's the most pure liquid. It has no structure. Oh. Okay, so we could unlock that door. Let's keep that on the books. And we have a bomb here. Let's go ahead and place a bomb in here. Put that up here. Is that water always seeks the lowest point. It's perfectly malleable. It can, I mean, you know, that's the whole thing of jujitsu. I mean, if you ever saw Cowboy Bebop, that was one of the things when he's doing like his jujitsu. He's like, be like water. You know, like water can take any form. So if someone attacks you, you can sort of form to what they're doing, right? Well, you can use this in mental, you know, philosophy as well. Is just if someone, you know, if you're in a certain situation, you can sort of self-adapt. You can generate love for that situation or acceptance of that situation because you allow yourself to settle on the lowest point, you know, not on some more stable point that you've predetermined and pre-structured in advance. Water always fills whatever container it's in, which makes it very effective at what it does. Oh! Oh! Skulltula! Alright, we're doing pretty good so far. We haven't got to the confusing bits yet, but, you know, we got that Skulltula. That's nice. You know, in general, Taoism is about acceptance. I mean, really, you're forming yourself into an ego as a sort of rejection of the universe, which that gets right back into the Jungian stuff again. You know, your formation of your ego, in a sense, is a rejection of the universe. You reject that you are the like, for, you know, if you want to get down to the philosophy of all this stuff, all this Eastern wisdom, and stuff, is that you are the universe. Deep down, that's what you are. You're the whole flippin' thing, from top to bottom, from the Big Bang and whatever's beyond that. Like, you know, it all causally connects back to you, and therefore you are it. But you can't live that way. You know, that's overinflation of the ego. It can't get that big. The ego tends to pop at a certain point, and that's what we call enlightenment, or sudden enlightenment, if you're a Zen Buddhist, is the ego pops. And it's like, oh, I can't handle that I'm this whole thing, you know, without dissolving myself into it. And some people, you know, live perfectly happy lives, completely dissolved into the universe. But then, you know, they're not really people in the traditional sense. They're just a reflection of the cosmos and a reflection of nature. The very essence of being an individual, you know, in a sense, is an ignorance and a rejection of nature. Right? You say that I'm not the universe, I'm me, I'm little old me. You know, I'm not the whole universe. I mean, this was actually a big problem society had for a long time, is that, yeah, we're the eyes and consciousness of the universe, you know, we're the way in which it looks at itself, you know, and it's very hard to look at yourself when you're identifying with the whole of yourself. You need to sort of take a step back. And here we have this mirror symbolism again. You're a reflection of the cosmos, and to know yourself is to know the cosmos, right? But that's why you also need a certain amount of people who are fairly ignorant of themselves. Otherwise, you know, we're all sunk back into the cosmos, and there's not much of this objective experience to be had. So it's good to have a bit of ignorance, you know, like I always like the bodhisattvas in Buddhism and Hinduism. They transcend the universe, but they kind of let a little bit of their ego hang on, so that they can come and interact with other people and sort of be a mediator between these two states. You know, it's like keeping a secret to yourself. Or not letting yourself know, not letting your left hand know what your right hand's doing, right? You know, there's another great story about you know, someone comes up to you and steals your pocket watch and sells it back to you, right? This is what a Zen guru does. They steal your pocket watch because, like, you are the universe, and they try to sell you on telling you that you're the universe, but you already know it deep down. You know, it's the pocket watch that you forgot you had, so they steal it from you and give it back to you just to kind of show you that you had it, right? It's a pretty profound thing. When you get talking about water, you know, that's you kind of have to go philosophically. You kind of have to get into these subjects because water flows. You know, it opens itself up to whatever it's trying to contain it or move it around. Oh, I need to focus on this dungeon. This is about the bit where I'm going to get lost. Oh, okay, so this is the part I think you were talking about, Ketzer, where I have to get under that platform there. So let's not forget to do that. Oh. Up. Yeah, we'll get you clams. Going clam hunting. It is. I think I've forgotten that bit a few times. Every time I do this dungeon, I do it wrong in a different way. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do it right this time. I'm feeling pretty good so far. I don't think I've made a mistake yet. I've got a few keys. Like, things are looking good. There's still time for me to mess it up, though. Okay. Likely another small key. It's too many small keys, Water Temple. You know I don't like small keys. I like big keys. Keys that really unlock something big and important. All these small keys. There's a lot of blockages in this dungeon. You know, you're needing a lot of keys. Keys are pretty symbolic too, like we talk about in Kingdom Hearts, but I think in Zelda they basically are just keys. You know, sometimes a pencil is just a pencil. I mean, in a sense, everything's symbolic, but it's not always as symbolic as you think it is, right? Or maybe not in that direction. Okay, so we can open this door here. Let's just take a look at things. We've got a room here. We need the long shot to get in there. What's in this room? I don't think I've been here yet. Yeah, I feel, you know, what I'm doing is, I think you tend to, like, see a locked door, and you're like, oh, go unlock that thing right now. We need to unlock it right now, you know? But it's good to look around first. I think that's the big flaw I always make with this dungeon, is not looking around enough. And the compass, that'll help me. I don't know if I got the map. I think I may have missed the dungeon map, but I'm not gonna really beat myself too much over. No, I have the map, it looks like, because I can see all the different areas. Nice. Okay, where are we now? Yeah, I remember this bit. Have I finally learned to do this dungeon? Is this the time? Finally, I'm 35 years old, and I finally figured out how to do this dungeon. It only took me 25 years. I could have got a master's degree or something instead, you know, but I learned this dungeon. Oh, I need a potato chip. I find the salt from the potato chips helps keep my my vocals nice and smooth. Kettle cooked, of course. That's the only way to go. I don't even like potato chips that aren't kettle cooked anymore. And I'm not eating Doritos. Technically not a potato. That's a corn chip, and I won't have it. Okay, so we still have a key. I think that's the entrance to the dungeon. Oh, no. Did I miss something? My brain's telling me I may have missed something. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of my base is around the millennial age. You know, I've noticed. So, which is cool. You know, I love that people that old are still interested in video games. That old. I mean, we're not old. We are kind of old. What? Okay, nope. I did it, guys. I did it. I messed up and I don't know where I'm going now. Wait, what am I doing? Okay, no, I was supposed to do that, I think. Huh. Oh, man. And there's a treasure chest there. There's something there I gotta do. Okay. Ugh. No, I've already been here. I think I've already done this bit. Oh, get out of my way, guys. Yeah. No, yeah, this is just the room with the compass in it. Oh, God. Oh, no. I'm lost. Never mind. I'm lost. I don't know what to do now. Let's see. Do I still have a key? Okay, I have a key. And that's the entrance. Oh, there's a key. There it is. Look at that. Look at that. Look at this over here. Here we go. Back on track. Now we're getting somewhere. I think we're about up on the long shot. Once you get the long shot, the rest of the dungeon's kind of a cakewalk. Oh no! Uh-oh! No! Well, it was bound to happen eventually. Okay. Missing a key. Missing a key. Hmm. Okay, I think we were already down there, so... It's looking like the key is... It's looking like it's over here. But we can't get there without the long shot, so we can't get to that chest there. We must have missed something down below. Okay. Wait, I'm doing some... I'm looking at my map here. I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, so... It's easy if I just get my bearings. Okay, so that's where the boss is over there, so... that's north. And that's north. Maybe... something. Oh, you know what it was? You know what it is? I know what it is. I know what it is. I know what I missed. I know what to do. We're gonna have to reset the water levels, though. It's actually right here. I need to set the water level to medium. That's okay, Ketzer. Yeah, I need to go through that, I need to blast through that thing there, so I need to set the water back to the middle level. Which means I need to come set it back to the bottom level and then go in the thing and go set it to the middle level. Also, I think it's worth mentioning that the fact that this symbol is here, you know, this symbol is of the royal family. Those who wish to open the path sleeping at the bottom of the lake must play the song passed down by the royal family. There's a great connection between the Zoras and the royal family, and I think that's worth at least, you know, mentioning for now. Whereas, you know, there doesn't seem to be as great a connection to, like, the Zora, to the Gorons or the Kokiri. Yeah, here we go. Still, we're making pretty good time on this dungeon. I think I'm doing this faster than I did the Fire Temple, anyway. Stop! Alright. Look for the torch room. And there we go. Oh, it's the key. That's what we needed. Okay, now I just gotta figure out how I raised the water level up to the highest point. I forget how I got up there, but no, yeah, we went through this door. We went through this door. Pretty sure we went through this door. Yeah, here we go. Okay, back on track. Back on track. I'm really happy with how this stream's going. Super stoked. Woo! Oh, it's toasting though. Oh, I dropped my earbud. I can't hear anything. Oh, dropped it again. Okay, we're back. Nice. That was I just cut that guy's life apart. That was great. I always wear a poncho while I'm doing this. I don't know if that matters to anybody, but It's how I stay warm in the winter. I have this poncho, and it's ridiculous. Because, like, if I go outside in it, I'm usually, like, just, like, in my underpants and a poncho, you know? I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, but that's how I used to smoke cigarettes in the winter. In my underwear, in a poncho, out on my porch. Yeah, hey, but the poncho's warm though. You can kind of tuck your hands into it, you know, and keeps you nice and warm. But I get a little toasty in it when I'm upstairs now. My office is a little warmer, you know, which is cool. It's so nice to have my own room to do this in finally. I was always sharing a TV with basically everyone else in the house, so this is really cool. All right, and we're in the dragon room. This is like the most fun I've ever had doing this dungeon, I swear. Oh, what have I done? That was stupid. Oh man, how do I get back up now? Oh, I see. I gotta... I always loved these guys, because where I grew up, there were a lot of water spiders, and I spent a lot of time on the river as a child. I was a river rat. Oh man, I don't know. Zelda has so many reflections from real life. So many inspirations, so that was one of those little things that I was like, hey, it's like Zelda. This is fun. Water spiders. Yeah, that again. I think we're coming up on Shadow Link here. That's how you do that. Oh, this is cool. Little dragons. So guardian little dragons like that tend to be it's from Chinese Buddhism, but it got transferred over to Japan. So here we are. There was that concept of reflection that Sheik mentioned, and if you notice in this area, the water is very reflective, right? You know, self-reflection seems to be the motif here, which makes sense with the idea of water being the subconscious. What we're doing is diving into ourselves. We're learning about ourselves here, which is one of the trials, you know, that you have to face in life. That self-reflection. Before you can progress, you have to look back and face your shadow. I think that's a pretty profound message here. All right, guys, here we go. Shadow Link. Haha, I got him. So you can cheese this guy using Din's Fire. And he just does what you do. You know, you really do have to overcome yourself. Oh. Damn, he's pretty difficult. But he only does what you do. I don't think he'll just attack me. Oh, come on, stop jumping on my sword. You're making me look dumb. I see. You can't lock on. Yeah, if you lock on, it's predictable, but you have to not lock on. I don't know, maybe that's some sort of self-trust or something. Maybe, I don't know, it could just be a game mechanic. But we're going to keep it on the books. The more you hit him, too, the more visible he becomes. Whoa. That's like the best I ever did against him. We just beat the crap out of that guy. Okay, so we've conquered our own shadow. The waters have now become clear instead of reflective. You know, we did a self-purification there. And now we got to purify the actual temple. And the long shot. It was a long shot, but we got it. Wait. How did this go? There we go, I got it. The gods of time are like, he basically played it. Just let him have this one. Some hero of time this guy turned out to be. Okay. Woo! This room is shaped like a snake. I don't, if you can see in the map there, it is shaped like a snake. I don't know if that's significant. Or if it represents some sort of water kami, maybe from Shinto, but that's something to note as well. Oh god, no. I always hate this part. Ugh. Well, let's make sure we get that guy. There we go. This one. No, please, just let me out. Let me out! No! No! Ah! Let me out of here. This sucks. Oh my god, let me out of here. I can't do it. I'm struggling. Let me out. What? This is stupid. What's going on? I'm trying so hard. Oh, I did it. I did it. I'm free. I'm free. Ridiculous. Oh. Oh, I can't use the bow unless I'm up on this rock. I see. Can't use the bow in the water. That actually makes sense. Oh, what? Okay, I guess I gotta hit it more directly. What, that's like 6 small keys. That has to be more small keys than any other dungeon in this game. And we've already been here, so now we have the long shot. That's gonna open up a few more things for us here. Ooh! Especially, I think, at the top level, notably, there was that one room. Or maybe it's on the middle level. It might be on the middle level. Which means we're gonna have to go reset the water levels again. I mean, let's hope not. Let's just take a peek around and see where that one was at. Maybe it is on the top level. No. It is on the middle level. We're gonna have to go back down. Okay, here we go. I think this part is maybe why people think this dungeon's so frustrating too, is that, like, you finally got to the end, and then one more time you have to go reset all the water levels once more. Man, I need a drink. I got some orange juice here. Low sugar for my sensitive little heart. Here we go, yeah. Ooh, there's a spider up there. I do want to get him. Now I have the long shot. Maybe I can. And I think there's another spider in this dungeon I want to get to. I guess we'll go grab him. I don't know. I'm not doing a completionist run or anything. You know, God knows I've missed plenty of heart pieces, but I keep these save files, you know, in my computer so that I have them. Like these are my official save files. They're not just for the channel. Like if I keep playing this game after this, I'll just come back and play my channel save file. In a way, you know, I've heard other friends tell me this too, about video games. They like record or something. Like Cam, you know, he's been recording Fortnite wins. Like if you go to his channel, it's just a bunch of him winning matches of Fortnite, and he's getting pretty good, right? But he's getting, okay, what, oh wait, oh I see, I needed the long shot. He's getting subscribers faster than I am. Just playing these little Fortnite things, but he says it's just for him to sort of have a record. You know, YouTube's a good storage place, so you can just kind of store your information. I always encourage people to upload. I think it's just fun, and I think having people on the internet showing themselves is going to be good for future historians who want to see what the world was like, or maybe what people were like, you know. Not that someone's going to research me or anything like that, but, you know, maybe. I don't know. Oh my god, it is another small key. Good lord. This is the dungeon of small keys. Which means there's one more thing for me to unlock. And where is it? We might have to look at or maybe it's just to the boss. No, there's the boss room. I don't know. I don't know. I know there's a big room somewhere. Let's take a look at the map real quick. So it's on the first floor. It's on the first floor. So I am gonna say let's head down to the first floor, though before we do, well, no, let's head down to the first floor. I guess that's just what we gotta do. And it's, looks like it's on the north side, so maybe it's just a straight shot. It's always hard for me to tell. Oh wait, no, I can see what direction I'm facing. So yeah, it's gotta be this one right here. Yeah, I don't think we even went into this room. Because you needed the long shot to get up over this thing. Okay. And there's that's where the key goes. Boom. Which leads to this crazy room. Ah! Burn them! Burn them all. No? I guess because they're wet, maybe it doesn't work. I thought having the Zora mask in this dungeon would be awesome. I mean, it would probably break the whole dungeon, you know, and I'm sure somebody's probably modded it in somewhere or something. So who knows, but yeah. The Zora mask was an incredible idea because I think I mentioned this when I was playing Majora's Mask. You know, water levels are just slow. They're slow, and that's part of the reason they're not as much fun is you're always, you know, you're stunted in your movement. And one of my big, like, game design opinions is the more movement, the better, every time. That's another issue, you know, me and Cam have been playing Fortnite, and lately, they've severely reduced the movement options that you have. You know, that's kind of the reason we got into it, is You know, we would cruise around in the cars, listening to tunes, and that was a lot of fun. And then, you know, you had all these ways you could get away from people, because we're not very good at shooting guys, but we're good at getting away from guys. So that was always a lot of fun for us. But yeah, they took a bunch of that stuff out, so we've been complaining a bit about that, even though we keep playing it like every weekend. I might start live streaming that too. I know Fortnite's oversaturated, but I mean, me and Cam, we're playing it basically every weekend. It's how we hang out since I don't have a car. And he has a car, but you know, he doesn't have very much gas money, so you know, we hang out online, even though we live in basically the same town. Basically, not 100%. I think technically it's a different town once you get over to his side, but grab? How about climb? Wait, no. Wait, what am I doing here with this thing? Oh god, I pushed it the wrong way. I'm silly. I'm silly. I've never been good at first-person shooters, though. I mean, you know, I can get a headshot or two if I want to, but it's never really been my forte. I used to play Halo. I used to do LAN parties with Halo, and LAN parties are something I miss so much. It was, I mean, and I would play on like a 10-inch screen in the bathroom, because that's all the room we had in my friend's little trailer, right? When we were kids, and yeah. I really miss LAN parties. Hooking up all your cables and hoping, you know, that everyone brought their own controller because you didn't have enough controllers. Yeah, I think even when Halo 3 came out, I played it with like 3 of my friends, and then I had like, you know, 5 more friends in the room, and we were all cramped in this tiny room, and we had a TV that was just so tiny. It was so, it must have been under 20 inches, like when we were splitting it 4 screens. We were splitting it 4 ways. It was ridiculous, but it worked. We had fun. Drinking Code Red Mountain Dew, not worrying about our kidneys. Those were the days. No one should drink Mountain Dew at any age. It's just not a good idea. Okay, that room was way longer than it needed to be. All right, yeah. Ho ho! Wait, there's boulders coming through here, I think. We're just gonna get the spider. There it is, the boss key. Okay, we're basically done. Woo, hallelujah. Get me out of here, man. I'm feeling pretty worn out. These streams, I'm learning to deal with them, but like an hour in, I usually get really tired. I'm used to recording 30-minute, 45-minute episodes maybe, and now we're doing like 2-hour live streams. It's fun. It's a lot of fun, but I do get a little worn. Plus, noon is usually my nap time. Like, I hate that at this age. I don't know why, but if I don't nap at noon, my whole day is wrecked. The whole day is wrecked if I don't take a nap at noon. And sometimes I won't. I'm like, no, I feel like an old person or a baby. I'm like, I'm not gonna nap. But then I regret it severely. It's like I need someone there to be like, now take your nap. You know you're gonna be grumpy if you don't nap. And I'm like, no, I don't wanna. But I need it. I do severely need it. Oh, but I hate it because I got stuff to do. I don't want to nap. I'm not stretching myself too thin, you know. I thought about even doing some recordings at nighttime when I get off work, but I'm just too tired. This works perfect for me. And even though I'm getting less views on average, you know, because I'm doing this, I feel like in the end it's going to be better for the channel. Like, these lore videos I'm going to be putting out, or philosophy videos, or whatever you want to call them, they're going to be really professionally done, you know, and like, especially with Zelda, I really think I haven't really given away the show because I have some ideas that I'm not going to talk about in the streams, because I really feel like we're onto something that has not been approached in a Zelda analysis video. Even the really good ones. I've watched some really good ones. There's a really good one by... oh, I don't know who it's by. But it's like called Zelda, a masterclass in subtext. And it approaches a lot of the good points. Some stuff I'll probably be approaching as well, but it misses a lot as well. I think it misses a lot that hasn't been covered. And that video got like 4 million views. So if I can actually produce the quality of video that I'm trying to produce, and get the ideas out in the right way, you know, I think I'll end up getting more views than I've ever gotten since I started the channel. I just wanted to go get the Skulltula back in this room. I know I'm gonna forget him if I don't do it, so I might as well. And I don't want to ever come back to this water temple, so, you know. And also, you know, doing the recordings is kind of a weird performance for me. I feel like I need to be entertaining, you know, like I'm making an episode of something, it needs to be really entertaining, and doing things this way has taken some of that pressure off of me. I don't feel that I need to be as entertaining in these live streams, you know, because it's just community discussion. It's more real, you know, it feels like it replicates real life in a better way, I feel. Oh, come on. Okay. Water temple. You had to just flip me off one more time before I finished. No! Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, I can roll. Oh, wait, no, I can't. What, Navi? What do you have to say, Navi? Oh, wait, that's not the Navi button. Stink, are you having trouble with something? Maybe we should find a Sheikah stone. Oh, come, Navi's asking me to cheat. Navi. Shame on you, Navi. Alright, guys, here we go. Boss time. And look, there are dragons on the wall, maybe implying that this is a sort of dragon, a sort of water dragon. So we're going to have to look for that in Shinto when we're looking over the Shinto myth, any kind of water dragon, because there are lots of spirits and kami associated with the water. I mean, Japan is surrounded by water. It's very important to them. But yeah, this water is thick, likely oily, you know, it's been contaminated by morphia. Yeah, gotcha. I gotta wait for him to come onto the land. Here we go. Gotta keep moving around. It sort of extends in the direction it thinks you're gonna be, you know, so. Oh, come on. Come back over here. Yeah. I think I got him stuck. Oh, no, he got me. He surprised me. Oh, no. Ouch. No. It hurts. It's so terrible. I'm going to throw up. Ooh, that takes a decent amount of life out of you. That guy's gonna try and grab me. Oh, he got me again. I have a fairy, it's okay. No. Morphia, no. Let me go, Morphia. This boss, it makes me laugh. Come on. Come on. Come on. It's like you're just fishing. You're just fishing. That's all it is. While being touched by these phallic noodles coming out of the water. He's almost dead. He can't have that many more hits left in him. Gotcha! Ha-ha! Yeah. Come on, get back out of the water. This is... I don't know why this boss makes me laugh. It's just... It's all noodly. Dead. And there goes all the corruption up into God knows where it's going. Oh, neato. Bloop. All right, folks. That was the water temple. Let's go see Rudo. See what she has to say. You can see that mandala I was talking about, you know, it's here in the Sacred Realm, which we could say is like the center of the Hyrulean universe. It's a mandala. It's a sense of balance, of unification, of all sorts of equal parts of different archetypes, all in balance. So, yeah. I would have expected no less from the man I chose to be my husband. Zora's domain and its people will eventually return to their original state. As a reward, I grant my eternal love to you. Well, that's what I want to say, but I don't think I can offer that now. I have to guard the water temple as the Sage of Water, and you're searching for the Princess Zelda. Ha! You can't hide your other hussies from me! I know about that forest girl, too. Princess Zelda, she's alive. I can sense it, so don't be discouraged. I can tell that nothing will stop you in your quest for justice and peace. You must take this medallion. Take it respectfully. So she's achieved a higher purpose, you know. What was once young love has now turned into service to the community, service to the world, something which these characters, you know, Link himself has to sacrifice much of himself in order to accomplish this task. They have to project their desires onto a higher consciousness, in a sense. If you see Sheik, please give him my regards. Hell yeah. Well, that was the hardest part of the game, so that, you know, we'll be fine with the rest. As the water rises, evil is vanishing from the lake. Stink! You did it! Ruto wanted to thank me. I see. We have to return peace to Hyrule for her sake too, don't we? Look at that, Stink. Together, you and Princess Ruto destroyed the evil monster. Once again, the lake is filled with pure water. All is as it was here. Except for the Zoras. They'll still be frozen for a long time. I like this part. I don't know why. Like, there's something, you know? Why does Sheik sort of just disappear without saying anything? Maybe because this was really a time of self-reflection for Link, you know? The silence perhaps was needed. All right, folks. Well, that was it, and that'll probably be the end of the episode. And it looks like it's just morning. If we do this right, we can get over. Oh wait, no, we have to shoot from over here. We have to shoot from over here, and then we get the stone. Okay, let's get the bow out. Where's the sun? Oh, it's way the hell up there. No, it's too early. I mean, it's too late in the day now. Wait, how does it... And the sun song always escapes me. What is it? There it is. Oh yeah, of course, Ketzer. Thanks for joining me today. Yeah, this one was a doozy. So, thanks for sticking it through. But next time we'll be doing the Shadow Temple, hopefully. Or at least the Torture Dungeon that's under Hyrule. But we are going to get the Fire Arrow, because, I don't know. I feel like that's just a cool way to end the episodes. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on the Shadow Dungeon. That one is one of the weirdest ones because, you know, it gives the history of Hyrule away. You know, if Shadow Link was the shadow of Link's story, then this temple is literally the shadow of Hyrule's history, right? That's been repressed and needs to be approached or seen from the child and the adult's point of view. So, yeah, I'll have some processing to do on that. I'll think of some interesting things to talk about because there's definitely a lot there. I'm gonna get that. See that guy over there? Just gonna take him out. Oh, and I think there's a golden Skulltula inside of that, the doctor's building over there, so maybe I'll go over there and grab that real quick. Yeah, draining the well, that place is the torture dungeon. The Shadow Temple may be like the Royal Tomb or something, but yeah, that's the horrible thing. That's the horrible bit. It's the well, and it's interesting that you face that area as a child. No, this guy does this every time. Where is that jerk? Where is he? He's gonna try and get me again when I go up there. Later, Ketzer. Oh, right, he's part of the big Goron quest. We'll get to that later. There is a spider under here, right? I thought there was. Huh, I guess not. Oh no, wait, maybe right here. There he is. All right, folks, I will see you next time on Gametrip. That's it for me.